one-stop investment center, the Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency. The Citizenship of Zimbabwe Act and the Immigration Act shall be amended. The Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill will be retabled to address some inadequacies therein, and they will further provide for online registration of mining rights and title. The Gold Trade Bill and the Precious Stones Trade Bill, which seeks to curb leakages of precious minerals, will also be tabled. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, the bill to establish the Institute of Education, Research, Innovation and Development will be tabled to align with the program on value addition and import substitution strategies. A consumer protection bill shall be introduced to protect our consumers from unfair trade practices and abuse of supplies of substandard goods. In line with our determination to further open up our media space, the bill for the establishment of a Zimbabwe Media Commission and an amendment to the Broadcasting Service Act shall be tabled. To mitigate the security risks and the cybercrime-related threats, a cybercrime and a cybersecurity bill shall be tabled before this Parliament. This shall also be supported by the introduction of the Data Protection Bill, as well as the Electronic Transactions and Electronic Commercial Bill. The Labour Amendment Bill will be brought to this House for discussion and approval. This must be in tandem with the ongoing easy and the cost of doing business reforms, and equally seek an intricate balance between labor productivity and workplace harmony. The Cooperative Society Amendment Bill will be tabled to strengthen the regulation of cooperatives in the country. The Tripartite Negotiating Forum Bill, which aims to facilitate participatory development by fostering greater collaboration between all social partners, will also be brought for consideration by this august House. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, the alignment of our laws to the Constitution, which became necessary as a consequence of the adoption of the current Constitution, remains a work in progress, notwithstanding the strides made in the previous sessions. This Parliament is thus expected to, inter alia, consider the following: the Coroner's Bill, which provides for the establishment of the Coroner's Office; the Constitutional Court Bill, which, among other things, seeks to confer additional responsibilities to the Constitutional Court; the Customary Law and the Local Courts Bill, which provides for the expulsion of harmful cultural practices for customary law; the High Court Amendment Bill, which will provide for a clear appeals and referral procedures from the High Court to the Constitutional Court and establish their jurisdictional matters. Furthermore, the Rural District Councils Bill, intended to give rural councils greater autonomy, as enshrined in the Constitution, shall be tabled in this august House. The Traditional Leaders Act will be amended to bring into line with the Constitution, and more particularly to provide for the establishment of provincial assemblies. The Provincial and Metropolitan Councils Bill will facilitate the devolution of governmental powers and responsibilities to provincial and local authorities. Through this bill, provincial and metropolitan councils will be reconfigured in accordance with Chapter 14 of the Constitution. This will further seek to facilitate enhanced coordination between central government, provincial councils, and local authorities within the context of the Decentralization and Devolution Program. In addition, the Public Finance Amendment Act will be amended to facilitate the allocation of sufficient resources for basic and social services and economic development at the local level. Meanwhile, the Forest Amendment Bill will be tabled for consideration by this Parliament to provide for measures to effectively foster the sustainable management of the country's forestry resource. my government will bring for ratification by this Parliament the Kigali Amendment to the Nagoya-Kuala Lumpur Supplemental Protocol on Stability and redress to the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, the accession to the additional protocol to the agreements between states and International Atomic Energy Agency for the application of safeguards, the accession to the Joint Convention on the theft of spent fuel management and the theft of radioactive waste management, the accession to the Convention on the Physical Protection of Nuclear Material, the accession to the Convention on Assistance in the case of nuclear accident or radiology emergency, and the accession to the Convention on the early notification of a nuclear accident. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, our society continues to face the challenges associated with human trafficking. To help deal with this social ill, my government has already endorsed some protocols which now await ratification by this Parliament. These include the protocol against the smuggling of immigrants by land, sea, and air, and the protocol against the illicit manufacturing and trafficking in firearms, their parts, components, and ammunition. This Parliament is also expected to consider the Child Justice Bill and the Marriages Bill, which seek to provide a child justice system and to outlaw child marriages, respectively. The mandatory sentencing for rape and the sexual abuse bill shall be considered by this Parliament. Madam Speaker, Madam President, Mr. Speaker, my government stands committed to deepen its democratic values and aspirations for the prosperity of our country. We will continue to engage all cooperating partners to harness our full potential. The ongoing reopening of lines of credit from cooperating partners will undoubtedly help the retooling of our industries and creation of more jobs across various sectors of our economy. On its part, government will continue to ensure policy consistency, transparency, and predictability underpinned by fiscal discipline, hard, honest work, and responsive bureaucracy. My government is indeed gravely perturbed by the current outbreak of waterborne diseases, such as cholera and typhoid, in some parts of our country. It is regrettable that this has resulted in the wanton loss of life. Let us, as a nation, commit to permanently eradicate these medieval diseases, mainly through addressing the challenges related to clean water and sanitation provision, as well as sustainable waste management practices. Going forward, government and local authorities will be seized with this issue. In this regard, the enforcement of the Public Health Act, which I recently assented to, shall be imperative. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, the election period is decisively behind us. It is now time for us as members of Parliament and political leaders to exert our efforts towards delivering on the pledges we made the electorate. Our people have reposed their trust and confidence in us with the firm hope that we can bring a positive difference to their lives. It is incumbent upon us all to unite our citizens and galvanize them towards the attainment of economic prosperity and our Vision 2030. As this august House settles down to serious work, I wish to implore all members to always act in the national interest and preach the gospel of peace, the gospel of love and harmony, tolerance and hard work and honest work. Let us all unflinchingly commit to the rebuilding of our nation. as one people, united by one flag and one national anthem. I exhort you all to undertake the legislative task before you as servant leaders, emboldened by the people's mandate which you each carry. History will judge us harshly should we renege on the sacrosanct duty to uplift the livelihoods of our people. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I now therefore, with honor and humility, place these matters before you and declare the first session of the 9th Parliament of Zimbabwe officially opened. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.